Good morning. Dave Blanchard coming to you from the new headquarters of the Og Mandino Group. We're so excited. We had two different offices and we brought them all together and got this beautiful building. It was designed by Robert MacArthur, who is one of dear friend and a very talented architect. It's just got a warm, friendly feeling. It's great to be here. So welcome everyone. We're give everybody just a couple of seconds to join us. While we're waiting for them, I just want to share a couple of things that blew my mind this morning. I went back to scroll one early this morning, and I was reflecting on a line from Og Mandino that's so pertinent to what we're going to be discussing today. In scroll number 3, I'll persist until I succeed. He writes, to create the olive, king of all trees, 100 years is required. An onion plant is old in 9 weeks. I have lived as an onion plant. It has not pleased me. Now I would become the greatest of olive trees and in truth the greatest salesman. We're going to go into a scroll that gives us a foundational principle for how to create success in the terms of persisting until we succeed. We live in a world of instant gratification. And anyone who is creating success in their life knows that it's not instant, it's a journey. The journey is sped up when we are willing to shed our unhealthy habits of thinking. The more quickly we do, the more quickly we can experience success. But it is a journey for all of us. And we'll want to fall in love with the journey in the days to come as we go through these scrolls. I'll give you a couple of pieces out of the scrolls that give us some hints about how to find joy in that journey. It's not the destination, it's the journey, because a creator is always on that journey, because once they get to the thing they wanted to create, they're already creating something else. We want to love the journey of the creation. So let us make the decision today. I'm going to become an olive tree. I'm going to become an olive tree. We were in Israel earlier this year, Ramona and I, and the Garden of Gethsemane, just outside of the gates of the old city, and 2,000-year-old olive trees. Oh my goodness. Talk about a solid foundation for a tree. We want to become an olive tree, not an onion plant that's old in 9 weeks. Because we're always starting over, trying to find the quick fix, trying to solve the problem with a gimmick or a seminar or something. It's a journey. Overcoming our habits of thinking. Let's jump right into scroll number 3. And thanks everybody for being here. Oh my goodness, you're on time. It's so exciting. Let's jump into scroll 3. I love the way he opens this, because he talks about in the Orient, young bulls are tested in a certain manner. They're brought into the arena. They're allowed to attack a picador who pricks them with the lance. And the bravery of each bull is carefully rated based on their willingness to charge in spite of the sting of the blade. And Og says, I am tested by life in like manner. When we're reading this, we want to make sure we catch this phrase, tested for the arena. We're not in the arena yet. We're being tested to see if we're able to be in the arena. And as we're being tested and we're learning and we're persisting, we're acquiring ever-increasing levels of ability to handle ever-increasing levels of responsibility with greater levels of ease. We're growing. But that takes a few pricks of the lance. Are we willing to go through that piece? Or are we going to get on the treadmill the first morning and go, oh, this is really hard. I just can't do this. We quit. Of course it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's hard at first until our body gets acclimated and starts releasing endorphins and we start getting excited about being there. We want to get ourselves optimally healthy and we start eating healthy. I'm missing my Dorito chips. Well, yeah. Because the Dorito chips were ruining your life. Can we persist until we succeed? Are we willing to be tested? And Og says this. Let's use this as an affirmation this morning. I was delivered into this. I was not delivered in this world in defeat. Nor does failure course through my veins. I'm not a sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. Have to, should, must, need to. I'm self-directed. I act on my own moral authority, doing the next right thing for the right reason, because I want to, get to, choose to. I choose to be a lion. Let us this morning choose to be the lion that's inside of us. The next scroll, we're going to find about that flame that burns deep inside of us. It's been a constant irritation to our soul to be better than we are. Let's awaken this peace in us. Then he gives us this great wisdom. The prizes of life are not at the beginning of the journey, they're at the end of the journey. We don't know how long this journey is going to be. We may have taken 1,000 steps, but it may be waiting just right around the corner. We won't know if we don't turn the corner. He says, always will I take another step. If this is of no avail, I will take another, and yet another. How determined are we? In truth, one step at a time is not too difficult. Then he talks about comparing our daily actions to the blade of a little hatchet that we hit an oak tree. Now, this is about cutting down trees. It's about cutting down big challenges. Hit the oak tree, and one childish swipe may not cause the wood to tremor. Yet, constant will fell any tree. He said, he says that we want to be like the raindrop that washes away the mountain, the ant that eats the tiger, the slave that builds the pyramid. I will build my castle one brick at a time. For I know that small attempts, repeated, will complete any undertaking. Sometimes we just want stuff to be done. We're not enjoying the process, the millimeters of creation. The dream, the millimeters of creation. Now he takes us into something that I have been experiencing since July at a whole new level. The scrolls are most powerful when we're living the principle. And this is what he says. I'm going to take all this negative dialogue out of my head. So I'm going to start there. But if I should feel despair, I'm going to work in despair. I'm going to toil, and I'm going to endure. I'm going to ignore these obstacles at my feet, this unhealthy dialogue. I'm going to keep my eye on the goal above my head, the decision I've made. I made that decision. This is where I'm going to be on December 31st, 2018. This is where I'm going to be on June 1st, 2019. I've made the decision. That's the goal. I'm going to ignore the obstacles. Keep my eye on the goal above my head. For where dry desert ends, green grass grows. Now, before we listened to the unhealthy habits of thinking, we might have been in a dry desert, but we may have anesthetized it with too much television or too many Dorito chips. I used to do it, a bag of Dorito chips, one bowl at a time, right? So I wouldn't feel guilty about it. But when we've made the decision, when we have that goal and we keep our eye on that goal, and we ignore the unhealthy habits of thinking, we can finally hear them. I have grown to know in just the last few months that the dry deserts are some of our greatest gifts, because it's in those moments we can finally hear the dialogue that has been sabotaging our lives. When we're on that treadmill and we're finally listening, because we're not getting the results we wanted in 42 minutes, right? We're going, wow, how often have I lived like an onion plant? This has not pleased me. Get away from me, dialogue. I'm going to work and toil and endure through this. I'm going to get through this dry desert, because I know at the end of it, green grass grows, and it just grows. Now, it doesn't go dry desert, green grass. It goes dry desert, green grass, dry desert, green grass, dry desert, green grass. I believe there's a power greater than all of us. I call that power God, who loves me enough that when I'm ready, he'll give me a dry desert so I can hear the next level of dialogue that is keeping me from being all that I'm meant to become. I can hear it. Wow. Let's get rid of that. I was finally ready. Green grass. Knowing that when I'm ready, there'll be another dry desert. This is one of the great keys to success. We want to ignore those obstacles, that unhealthy habit of thinking, keep our eye on the goal above our head. Love these dry deserts because they're moments of growth, and then enjoy the green grass. It's delicious. It's wonderful. Then he tells us the law of averages. What a great perspective. Every nay brings me closer to a yay. Okay, that's good. And then he tells us how we gain experience. I love his metaphors. He says, each obstacle, well, I consider as a mere detour to my goal and a challenge to my profession. I will persist and develop my skills. This is how we gain ability. As the mariner develops his by learning to ride out the wrath of each storm. Yes, those dry deserts, those storms, those difficult times, that's when we grow. That's when we gain the ability to handle the increased levels of responsibility with greater levels of ease. Success isn't like, wow, if I just had $50,000 a month, all my problems will be solved. No, people who make $50,000 a month have a whole new set of problems. But what used to bury them, they handle by 8 o'clock in the morning and they're ready for the day. They've got the ability to handle those little things that used to just sabotage their life. They've got a whole new set now they're learning to master. And when they've mastered those, they'll get more responsibility and more. Success has responsibility. If we're looking for ease and less stress, we'll never find it. As I shared the first day, ease does not grow on this planet. It doesn't exist here. And if we keep looking for it, we're going to waste our life trying to find something that does not exist. We're going to want to engage in life and embrace these obstacles that come and learn from them. We're going to connect and serve and create value and contribute. We're going to persist, sometimes toil, sometimes endure, and be open to the lessons that life can give us to learn and grow. Well, then he gives us this last piece. I want to encourage everybody this morning to go get a journal. Call it the final thing in the day journal, the one more thing journal. He says at the end of the day, whether it be a good day or a bad day, when my thoughts beckon my tired body home, ever been in that space? Whether you have a carpet commute to your office at home or whether you travel back and forth in a car or a train, when your thoughts beckon your tired body home, you're going to do something extraordinary. I will make one more attempt to close with victory. Do one more thing. If that fails, I will make another. Never will I allow my day to end with a failure. Thus, I will plant the seed of tomorrow's success and gain an insurmountable advantage over those who cease their labor at a prescribed time. When others cease their struggle, then mine will begin and my harvest will be full. Promise to you. Get a journal. Each day, do that one more thing. End the day in a victory. Write it down in your journal what you did. And 6 months from now, go back and read your journal. And you will see the trajectory of your life changing dramatically by just doing one more thing. So today, at the end of the day, when your thoughts beckon your tired body home, just one more thing. Have some fun with this. And send me a message to the Og Mandino Group and let us know. Post on the website. Say, I've been keeping my one more thing journal. I just read it. You wouldn't believe the miracles that are happening in my life because I chose to do just one more thing. It's not a big deal. It's just one more thing. Then he ends with this. So long as there is breath in me, that long will I persist. For now I know one of the greatest principles, and remember, only principles endure, one of the greatest principles of success. If I persist long enough, I will win. I will persist. I will win. Now we invite you, if you haven't done it already, to go to habitfinder.com and get your free assessment. Find out which habits of thinking are trying to sabotage you, so you can begin to hear them and start to shift them. So you keep your eye on the goal above your head and persist until you succeed. Fight through those dry deserts. It's fascinating, but this started playing on my phone in my hearing. Here we go. So we're going to persist until we succeed. We want to know which obstacles are in the way, so we know we're fighting. So that when the dry desert comes, you can look at that assessment and go, ooh, what's showing up here? Is that serving me? Get it out of your life. Replace it with a good habit and begin to enjoy that green grass. Let us persist until we succeed. Thank you all for being here. Now, tomorrow, oh my goodness, tomorrow we're going to take on I Am Nature's Greatest Miracle. If you know anyone who's having any struggles with self-esteem, would you please share this out to them today so that they can watch this and be prepared to join us tomorrow morning? This is an incredible scroll that helps us awaken who we really are. Because when we do, we connect and serve. We use our mind constructively to get inspired ideas, ignite our passion. We are present in the now, spending time with our natural genius. We're genuine. That's what it means, to bring all your genius to the service of another person. And we begin to heal our self-esteem because we begin to know who we really are. Not those unhealthy habits of thinking. That enemy number one, that self-sabotaging dialogue. So I'll end with this in preparation for tomorrow. If I said half the things to you that your habits of thinking say to you, could we still be friends? Be here tomorrow morning, 7:45 Mountain Time, and let's take on self-esteem. Thanks, everyone. Blessings.